Yes. People, what's going on? It's Got Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Wow, Rack. Wow, your team wins it at the end, 3-2 versus Newcastle on a Monday night classic right there. There was red cards. There was crazy moments. There was even referee camera, which was very interesting new element to the game that I thought was very entertaining. Spurs beat Man City. Arsenal and Chelsea had very good performances. Same new season, same Manchester United. Arsenal looking to hijack another player from Tottenham. Did you see that? That was interesting. A defender from Leverkusen. Looks like a very, very good up and coming. Looks like a very good left back / center back. Another one that can be added to the ranks of the club, especially with Kivior potentially on his way to Porto. There's just so much to talk about. But before we go any further, as the rest of the boys come and join us, Rack, we have to talk about this game. What do you think? Newcastle, Liverpool, back and forth. I'll just throw it over to you. Take it away.
I mean, look, anyone who's from the days of proper Barclays, this was a throwback to that, man. Like, there have been some incredible Liverpool Newcastle games over the years. The first one that obviously springs to mind was the 4-3, which was in the late 90s. I remember that very well. And we followed it up the following season with another 4-3. Like, you never see two 4-3s. And there've been loads of results over the years that Newcastle in general have been a team that we've done well against, but they also beat us to silverware last season. And they had their tails up for tonight. You could tell the Geordies, they weren't messing about. They really wanted to put one over on us. And like, in general, I think Liverpool and Newcastle, we get on okay, but the whole Isak thing, just like the drama around this fixture, was proper hyped up. You saw they were putting out pictures of Joel Linton growling into the camera and all this kind of stuff, saying this man.
He deleted that after.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately Joel Linton didn't do anything today. He ended up going off with his tails between the legs. But look, we weathered the storm and got a arguably fortunate goal to go 1-0 up, and then Ekatike. I mean, Gravenberch was good in general, but there was a couple of moments. But yeah, his finish with a bit of luck into the bottom corner, the goalkeeper was never stopping that. And then second half starts and Ekatike, what a finish! Like, that was a good move. Good finish. He's hit the ground running in the Premier League. I expect him to have a good season. And then, look, we somehow almost contrived to still defeat or a draw out of the jaws of victory. Gyökeres, that was a shocking bit of defending. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to hold his ground, and by doing that, keep what's his name far enough away from the goal. Far enough away from goal so that his header isn't able to beat the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, he wasn't far enough, and it wasn't the best header in the world. But the fact he headed it into the ground, classic example of what coaches tell you: head it into the ground, and they may bounce up. Got the better of Alisson, and then the second goal was just terrible. I mean, we gave away a lot of free kicks throughout the game in dangerous locations. This one was arguably in the least dangerous, but it comes off konate. Gravenberch is not properly tracking his runner. The runner comes on the blind side. Alisson comes out, and I mean, anyone who's played the game before knows sometimes these mix-ups can kind of happen where somehow the striker just finds a little gap and it's 2-2, and then every Liverpool fan is screwing, and every Newcastle fan thinks, can we go on and win it now? Right? They'll take the draw, and they pegged us back. But the one thing with this Liverpool team is, they always keep fighting. They always think they're going to get a chance or two. We always have the ability to create a chance or two, even in the least likely moments. And look, it was a really good move. Obviously, the fact that they were down to 10 men, and we'll come back to the 10 men thing, was a really nice move. And look, I said earlier on today, I was speaking to a friend, I was like, I'd be happy if Rio doesn't play a single minute this season, because I don't want to put too much pressure on him. He's very highly thought of. He's a potential star of the future, but with young players like that, it's much more likely that they're not going to make it at a top level club like Liverpool. So I don't want to put any pressure on him. I just want to let him develop, go one step at a time, and see how he goes. But look, he stepped up. Arne Slot threw the dice. I don't think I think the coaching in this game wasn't the best. But Arne Slot made the decision, and what a finish! Like, it was a beautiful dummy by Soboslai. He obviously was aware enough that he saw Rio coming in behind him, and that finish into the side netting. That is the kind of finish that no goalkeeper is getting close to. And it was a beautiful finish, and another Liverpool Newcastle classic.
Bro, you pretty much said it all right there. But let's go straight into the super chat. Shout out to Leo Bimsons 98 19 sorry 998. Did I pronounce that right? The mentality monsters for you. Played shit and got the win. We got battered all game, but hey ho, it's what Liverpool do. It's how winners win sometimes. You know what? I don't think we can say you guys are going to be very proud of this result. At the end of the season, if this continues, you don't want these kind of performances to continue. Obviously, you want to start seeing better performances later on into the season. It's early in the season. You expect some growing pains with a lot of changeover in the team. I'm not expecting Liverpool to kick off of where they were last season and blow teams out to start the season. There's going to be an adjustment period, especially for a bunch of your new players. Kirkes today did not look so good defensively in the goal that he conceded. Honestly, it's harsh to say he conceded it, but he did get jumped over to win that header. He should try to win the header. As for Florian Wirtz, did not have the best of performances, but hey, it takes time. These are
This
is a very
was a weird
physical
one.
game.
It was a weird one with Wirtz, though. Like, he picked up the ball in some okay locations. He lost it on a couple of occasions very easily. But I also think we're not looking for him quick enough. Like, there's a couple of times in the first half specifically where he was free from his mark. He was on the edge of the box, and Soboslai and I think Gravenberch were looking up, and they could have played the ball to him. And obviously, sometimes maybe they're not looking for that kind of movement, or haven't been looking for it as much. But he got into decent positions, and I think in time, I don't have any doubts about him.
I'm not saying Wirtz is. Nobody's putting Wirtz on fraud watch like some of these people on Twitter are. I'm just simply saying I don't think it's going to take him a little bit of time. This is a very physical match. It's probably one of the most physical matches you're going to play. Newcastle are historically known for these kind of games, so of course it's going to be an adjustment period. He does seem like a really good player, but the person who's impressed me in this to start this game was actually Ekitike. Once again, another goal. What is that? 3 goals in two games. Quite impressive to say the least. And he took to his goals quite well.
Three if you count the thingy. He got one in the first game, one in the second game.
No, I think they're counting the community shield then.
And then it's 3. Then it's 3 and 3.
Yeah. So 3 and 3. I think there's negatives and positives, but let me just run through them quickly.
There's no. The positive is they won the game. That is it. No, that's it. That's it. In terms of this game, that's it. Yeah.
You think there's more negative than positive from this game?
Bro, there's the positive is they won the game. Yeah, despite them trying to lose this game, because Newcastle, first of all, let's just run through the game. First of all,
what's a game though?
It was an amazing game. Let's just run through. One, Gravenberch probably should have been sent off. Yeah. If that for the scissor challenge from behind. Yeah. Like, I feel that's pretty close. Yeah. Konate could have been sent off. Yeah. Second yellow.
Do you think they had an eye on the next week's game? They didn't want to ruin it?
Yeah, no. Listen,
what I'm saying why do you say stuff like that?
No, I'm just
hold on.
Why would you even think that's a legitimate point to bring up?
No, listen. I'm just before we go into that. Yeah. So obviously we go into the game now. Newcastle on top. Liverpool score against the run of play. Gordon gets sent off. Liverpool score 20 seconds into the second half. Yeah. The game should be done. Yeah. You're 2-0 up, playing 10 men. You've got a number of technical footballers on the pitch. Yeah. Retain possession, work the man, work the space, control the game. Yeah. They did not do that. They lost complete control to 10 men. Yeah. The 10 men were rocking them. They were rocking their jaws. Yeah. great winning goal, yeah, but that only happens because you're playing 10 men, yeah, because the overlap, the extra man, yeah, pops up. Liverpool take the win. They should be happy taking the win. Me personally, I saw no positives for Liverpool in that game. Like, they scored 3 goals. Yeah, that's impressive. Like, they scored 3 goals. So basically, Liverpool can score out of nothing. Yeah, so I guess that is a positive to take out of the game. But watching that game, seeing Liverpool again in week 2, yeah, week 1, I said that's why they're champions. Yeah, that's why I said week 1 when they beat Bournemouth. That's why you're champions. This week, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how Liverpool came to be in the point that they needed to score a goal in the 100th minute to win the game against 10-man Newcastle. Like, so, yeah, good win for Liverpool, but yes, big question marks about, like, they're missing McAllister and stuff, but just the structure of the team looks a little off. Verts, I know what you're saying, but for 100 million, we're expecting you to be like plug in, like straight away. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm expecting him to plug in. So obviously they're gonna get better. Liverpool take the points, run with it. Like, but it's not a game for me if I'm Liverpool to like be happy about in the slightest. Do you know what I mean? Just be happy you won the game, no?
There's 2 ways I can phrase this, and I choose to phrase it from the positive side for Liverpool, and I'll say this why, because you're not defending champions for nothing. What you saw tonight was a champions win. Forget whatever you want to say. I hear all the narratives people are trying to paint. They're champions for a reason, and they showed it tonight. Again, the reason why a team like Newcastle will play a champion that hard is because Newcastle didn't want the champions to beat them at their home. So even a 10-man Newcastle will go all out. So Liverpool had to find a way to win today's game. And they found it through one of their youngsters. This is what champions do to win. In the days and in the games where they don't play well, they rack up the points. Simple. That's football. It does not matter how well Liverpool and Newcastle were in the first half or the second half. You're not always going to be 100%. You're not always going to play at your best. It's not possible. But putting the ball in the back of the net is what counts. Gravenberg's first goal was a player's goal where he thought, we've tried everything, nothing is working. I'm just going to take a shot. And you miss 100% the chances of the shots you don't take. He took a shot and it went in. I don't even want to hear this. Like, I hear people phrasing it like, oh, yeah, this is not a sustainable way to play. I agree. But this is game.
Bro, it's 10. They played 10 men, bro. It's 10 men, though.
Hold on. Listen. They played 10 men and they won.
The thing is,
at the end of the day, all I'll say, let me just finish this rack. Sorry, I'll just say that it's not a sustainable way to play, but this is game week 2. There's teething problems, there's tweaks that need to be made, but this is just the second game of the season. There's 36 more games. I don't see Liverpool playing this way in the next 10 games. Like, they're not going to play 10 this season.
There's a difference, though, right? There's a difference between this game and arguably any other game, because this game for Newcastle was personal. That they will against any other team this season at home, they will not be motivated like that, because they took it. Look at all the chatter on Twitter and all this kind of stuff, and Twitter or any kind of social media. Sure, it may not be the player specifically, but some of that shit. When you saw their Twitter saying Joel Linton and then he's growling into the camera and Bruno Guimaraes coming out and saying this, that, and the other, this was personal. And if I'm going to say that it wasn't a great performance, it wasn't a classic Liverpool performance, we will definitely play better. We'll probably play better this season and drop points. I agree. But the fact is, every team that goes to Newcastle is arguably the toughest place in the Premier League to go, and we've gone away and we've won. And despite the fact they wanted this, they wanted that blood, they wanted our head, and they didn't get it, and we got it. So big up the Red Cartel, big up ESR.
You got final thing.
I was just gonna say this, Rack. Regardless, down to 10 men from the 45th minute till the 100th minute. They kept you guys at bay and were attacking you and pinning you back.
They did. And
they pinned us back in spells. They didn't pin us back.
You did not create a single chance between.
But Igal, what is a chance defined at? A chance defined as a shot on goal. That's not the whole
goal,
thing.
yeah.
But that's not that. So what? Then we still had probing moments of play.
From halftime till 10 minutes left in extra time, Liverpool did not switch on. 10 minutes left in extra time, you guys switched on. But up until then, yeah, it was just like you guys were in cruise control.
But again, you have to realize, Igal, you see, it's almost like we all try to neglect the context of the game itself.
They were 2-0 up. They threw away the lead.
Listen. Yeah, they threw away the lead because of the type of game it was. Did you hear the noise in that stadium from Newcastle fans?
Yeah, I heard it.
Come on, man.
Hold on. Stop this. Don't do that. We've all been.
What do you mean stop this, bro? It's not 11v11, bro. You keep ignoring the fact. No, because you keep ignoring the fact it was 10 versus 11.
I agree.
No, because the point is like unless you.
I said I agree. Listen, it is 10-11.
They got outplayed by 10 men.
I hear you. It happens in football. You have seen 9 men against 11 men still hold the force. Let's not make it seem like, just because they lost one player, now Newcastle is a useless team. That's not true. Number 2 thing you need to realize is this. Newcastle were out for blood today.
Okay.
If Liverpool had fallen into their trap, at least 2 or 3 Liverpool players would be out for the season.
Okay.
Out for the season.
But what about the fact, against Bournemouth, they threw away a 2-0 lead. Tonight, they threw away a 2-0 lead to 10 men. So everything you're saying about the atmosphere and the cauldron and everything, 100%. I get that. But these are the champions. A number of these players are Champions League winners. A number of these players have been to hot atmospheres. It was 10 men. And they won again. What I'm saying is they allowed themselves to lose control of the game. I'm saying is I'm holding the champions to a high standard in terms of what they're doing.
Let me tell you what makes you a champion. When you lose control of a game, you find a way to get back into it.
I'll be back.
That's the mentality of a champion. That's what I want from my team when my team loses control of a game and they feel like this game is slipping away. Somebody steps up and they win it.
Let me just stop everything for a second.
So don't make it seem like the just because they lost control of the game, that means that they're now totally like crap. No way. Champions.
I didn't say they were totally crap. I said this is a game. This is a game where Liverpool go away from it, put the points in the bag, be happy you won the game. Yeah, just be happy you won the game.
And then go fix it.
In terms of positives from the game, there's very few, if any. You won the game. Congratulations. But massive question marks coming out of the game.
Yeah, go fix it.
You can asterisk it down to the atmosphere. I'm gonna say, based off the Bournemouth game and this game, question marks for Liverpool and slots to work out. But well done for winning the game.
Again,
one second, guys.
Hold on. Let me bring in at the very beginning of the season.
Deo. 1 second. Let me bring Ahmed in.
Have defensive problems.
Let me bring Ahmed in. Ahmed, what are you saying? You got the headphones like you're Martin Tyler at the game. What's going on?
No. I have to switch between my regular ones, which I usually wear, and this one today because the other one's acting up a little bit. So I have to wear this one.
TK is a positive. Sorry.
Yeah, but listen. Big up to everyone that's here. Hope you're having a great weekend.
Hope you're doing good. It's nice to see you after a 5-0 win, not a draw, right?
Well, listen. I told you before I was actually away last week, so it's not my fault that I couldn't even attend. But listen, I think in terms of the Liverpool game, it's interesting because I feel like even before Newcastle, the Gravenberch goal, Newcastle looked like they were on the front foot. They were pressing them quite well. Their final ball was what was really missing in that game in particular. But then I think what happened, they obviously scored the first goal. Gordon lost his head, gets sent off. Then if TK scores, they got at halftime, you're up 2-0. I think. I forget Bruno Guimaraes scoring that first goal really reinvigorated the Newcastle side.
Yep,
that brought them to life, right? And then obviously they were then able to go and get that second goal. And listen, yes, we should give Liverpool credit, as I think Dyer was mentioning, for being able to then get that win in the last minute. Big up to Rio for doing that for them.
It's not sustainable.
But this is what I do agree with Jay. You have to ask yourself: it's 10 men Newcastle. Right, this is not even a Newcastle side that has improved. This is the same old Newcastle side that was virtually there the same season. The only difference that you really had in the second half was that Malik Tal got added because of like the concussion injury that I think he received. So that is for me if I'm Liverpool, I'm looking at that. I'm like, what is going wrong there? What do I need to fix to make sure that does not happen again? That's what I'm saying. Keyword.
Ahmed, I agree with you. Like I said, I said something. I said Liverpool is forward heavy. Liverpool will outscore a lot of teams this season. Just take it. They're going to outscore a lot of teams this season.
Are they forward heavy? Did you see their options?
When I mean they're forward heavy, their players, like you saw it today, Gravenberg got a goal out of nothing. You would see players get a goal out of nothing from Liverpool. They have players like that on that team. But seeing
bring up Mikano's comment. Sorry,
we're seeing Ekitike do it. We're seeing Ekitike do it. If they get if they get Isak, for example, they have players that'll be forward heavy. They have, they may not be firing on all cylinders, but they are forward heavy. Defensively, they are one injury away from either Konate or Van Dijk, and their season is over. That's what I've been telling Liverpool fans.
Can we be honest though, Dario? I'm so sorry to interject here. Yeah, I think we need to also have a bit of a conversation about my good friend Konate here, because I said this. I think I said this to a mate of mine, a local mate of mine. Yeah, I said this before. I feel like his head is in Milan, but his body's in Well, today he's in Newcastle, right? So like, I don't really feel like that. His head's in the game. No, his head's in Madrid. His body's in Newcastle right now. But the point I'm trying to make either way is just that I don't think he's fully focused 100% on what's going on. It clearly seems like to me there's not full focus. He's not been playing great. I think with Gyökeres, the only thing I can really give is just to him is just say, you know what, maybe it's an embedding in thing or something like that. But at the same time, the way he's getting like beaten and like cooked, it's like this should be like a typical thing.
The team hasn't gelled together for me. Now the Konate thing, my opinion on Konate is that he's obviously, I would say, fitness issues, beginning of season, second game of the season. I give players that leeway. I'm not going to do this and try and beat somebody down in game 2. My thing is in game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4, I expect you to figure out all those kinks, right? Even if you score massive goals, if you score 5-1, 5-0, that doesn't mean that you've clicked. Because your next game is going to decide how, and decide how far along you guys have come. My thing is, at the very beginning of the season, rack up the points that you can rack up, because this is the time where you are most vulnerable. By the time you click and you're stronger, it becomes harder to beat you. Now, the things that defensively, Liverpool, if they don't lose Van Dijk or Konate, like that tackle to Van Dijk today, which I thought was horrible. Do you see the back of his leg? That could have easily taken him out for a couple of games. But if they don't lose Van Dijk or Konate, and if they bring McGahey in, I think they'll be fine defensively, right? They will click eventually. This idea that we're going to use this one game because it was a 10-man.
No one's using this one game. I'm not. We're not using. It's almost like you're creating a straw man argument that doesn't exist.
No.
Nobody here. No, but nobody here is saying. No, but you're saying
I'm looking at.
But Dale, then obviously look at the data from the two. No, but look at the 2 games then, right? Look at the 2 games then together, right? They conceded 4 goals in 2 games, 2 goals to 10 men, gave up 2-0 leads in both games.
Yeah,
that's happened in both games. So whilst you don't want to create generalizations, clearly there's something. There's issues.
I addressed their defensive issues, Jay. That's what I first addressed. I just said it. I said that they're having problems defensively, and
you said if they don't get injured. I'm saying already right now, 4 goals in 2 games.
Okay, Jay, I think you missed the part where I started. I did say
I'm not missing the point, bro. I'm saying to you, I want to focus on the games they played. I'm not generalizing about what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying let's commentate on these games. Don't just say
on this game. Hold on. On this game, I said that they were forward heavy, which meant that defensively they're lacking. I did say that when we're having. I said, look, Liverpool is a forward heavy team. They're lacking defensively.
Bro, Liverpool have conceded 6 goals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're lacking defensively right now, but they're forward heavy, which means they'll score a lot. The way it appears to me, for the next few games, Liverpool will concede goals but outscore the other team until they can fix that defense.
They can't do that versus us next week.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's not sustainable, because when they play teams that can actually defend properly and those teams score them, they're going to find it hard to actually.
Let's switch gears. Enough about Liverpool. Let's get to Newcastle quickly. Newcastle players are telling Isak, if you played, we win. Do you think Isak looks at that performance and says, confirms his stance that he wants to leave, or does it make him maybe say, you know what, I'll thug it out for a year with
bro? He's not coming back, bro. It's over, man. It's not going back, bro.
There's no salvaging it.
There's no salvaging it. It's over.
I don't know, but if Isak was on that team, they win today.
There's only 7 more days in the window. Is he gone?
Yeah, but the thing, I don't. It's a tricky one, because on the one hand, you can see. I hear what you're saying. Like, obviously, Bridge, like, it makes sense that there's no way back. But on the other hand, once you get to a point where you're trying to buy a player, like, what's it? They're saying they want 70 million plus for Larson at Wolves. Visa is going to be like 40, 50 million. So basically, it's almost like you're taking the money you're getting from Isak and you're putting it directly into those two players, if you can get them over the line in time. So I don't know. Like, on the one hand, I think, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because if you say you get 130 million for Isak now, is his value ever going to be higher than this now? Will you ever get a higher bid than this? I don't think so. But on the other hand, if you don't, like, I saw it with Kane at Spurs when he wanted to go City. We didn't let him have the move. Eventually, he sorts his shit out and he starts playing again properly. Do you know what I mean? So Newcastle might have to do without for a month, 6 weeks, but eventually it's a World Cup year as well. The guy has to play. Do you know what I mean? The guy needs to play.
You know what I would say to you, Jay? I think it's a good example they bring up the Kane scenario, because at the end of the day, Kane still went for more, actually. You know, I know Man City. I know Man City, obviously, what's it called? Bid lower than what Bayern bid. But like, in this case, like, this is the maximum you're ever gonna get for this guy. I don't really feel like you're gonna get any more higher than whatever bid Liverpool brings in at this moment in time. And listen,
I think they don't care as much about the money as much as they care about the fact that they don't have a replacement for him right now.
Hey guys, I feel like, listen, again, Jackson is available. Let
me say this to you, Ahmed.
Jackson's not happening, bro.
Listen. Ahmed, sorry, Igal, sorry. If this was last season, Ahmed, I guarantee you Newcastle take the money immediately, because they had PSR issues last season. They've cleared it all now. So Newcastle is actually in the clear. They're not suffering about money. They're not breaking any laws. They're literally below. Like, which is why they were able to put down what they put down for sqaud, even though he rejected them. Like, they're willing to buy. They have the money. So let's not.
I got a lot on the plate today. We spent almost half an hour on Liverpool. Let's keep it moving. Cool. Let's keep it moving. Final thing, 11 minutes is a little bit excessive. We all agree on that, right?
Newcastle met, like, to be fair, I hear what people say, but Newcastle normally mess about with the ball. They waste a fair amount of time. Tonight they were. This is the fastest I've ever seen Newcastle play. So 11 minutes. I feel that was like 2-3 minutes too many. Like, I feel it was a little bit much, but I could see why they wanted. I can see why they wanted to add on a decent amount of time, but, like, I don't know, the head injury, maybe like 8, 9, 11 seemed a lot. But
long story short, a 16-year-old kid came off the bench and made the difference to win the game.
Former Chelsea Academy player too, man.
Yeah, former Chelsea Academy player, Rio. That was his debut, and he scored a goal in his debut, and it was the winner in the 3-2 thriller. So fair play to him. Hopefully he has a great career ahead of him. Before we go into any games, can we just speak about Jay? Arsenal Football Club is doing a mad thing, and you said we weren't going to sign 6 players. It looks like we could be signing 8 players now.
8 now, yeah. Well, right. The rest of the teams, like, we sell to buy, net spend. What's it? 300 plus million spent, 6 million in incomings. I didn't know you guys had that kind of money, to be brutally honest. So fair dues, Arsenal. I didn't realize you had that kind of financial backing to be able to spend that much money without selling, and also to carry this many players in the squad, because obviously you've got a big squad now, and yeah. So I wasn't, having seen Arteta over the last few years. I didn't think that he was somebody that likes a big squad, because he doesn't rotate like that. So maybe he's changing his ways, maybe this or that. But no, I was wrong. I can say I was wrong. Arsenal have spent way more than I thought they were gonna, and in bringing Eze in, I think they brought in a player that I didn't think they were gonna bring in unless they sold. So fair enough, Arsenal.
Can I say this, Jay? One of the things I tell people about the ownership of Arsenal is the Cronkies have a lot of sporting franchises here in the US as well. And the way they treat Arsenal now is how they've treated all their sporting franchises. The Cronkies. That's exactly, like, they eventually win, and when they win, they chill out for a few years. Like, that's them. Once they get to win something, watch them chill. They'll spend money to the extent where they can actually get a win, And then once they get that win, they've won the Stanley Cup with their hockey team. They've chilled. They've won the football with the Rams. They'll chill. Like they win something and then they just relax. And they haven't won with Arsenal. So I think what they're doing this year is really backing him with everything and anything he wants. Even up until the point where Josh is like, they're willing to put in, owners can actually put in 100 million of their own money as a loan into the club under PSR rules to actually put 100 million extra. They're willing to trigger that if there's a need for it. Like, yeah, so that's how they are. They hopefully we win this year, because after this, the Conkeys are going to chill. They'll chill for like 5 years. They don't care. These guys.
I just want to say one thing though. The main reason why I brought this section up was not to say I told you so, Jay. It was also for the latest hijacking that Arsenal are going to be doing to Tottenham. It is actually hilarious.
First of all, I wouldn't necessarily call it a hijacking if we haven't really, I wouldn't call it a hijacking.
You submitted a proposal.
Yeah, so we approach a player, you approach a player, the player prefers you. I don't call that a hijacking. What you did with Eze was a hijacking. Yeah, you have to get to a certain semblance of momentum through a deal in order for it to be hijacked. Otherwise, you're just two clubs who like the same player. Do you see what I mean? So I'm not calling that hijacking. It's just the player maybe prefers you. Maybe we haven't bid properly. No issue about that. Like, I've seen lots of players prefer different clubs for different reasons. He's a good player. I didn't realize, again, your manager's fetish for left backs left side.
Once again, Kivior is going for a potential club record sale for a defender.
Bro, if you get £25 million, I'll be shocked for Kivior.
There's a bid.
By the way, we're getting 27 million euros for Kivior.
It's
almost 30 million euros.
It's 27 million euros.
Okay,
but
what difference does that make?
No, but we're replacing.
No, I'm saying we're replacing him with this guy.
We're replacing Kivior with the player because he wants to go. Kivior has to leave. Again, the player says, I'm not getting enough game time. It's a World Cup year. I would like to leave and go play football somewhere, first team football, so I can play for my country in the World Cup. And
Arsenal didn't want to sell him to a Premier League.
And we didn't want to sell him to. So we're like, here you go, we'll leave. And if you leave, we need to replace you. That's the only reason we're getting this guy.
I'm seeing that you just are linked to another left back from France that you've apparently bid for like 10 million. Have you seen?
What? No, he's from Spain.
Sorry, Spain. My apologies. Yeah, I just saw that, bro. So
basically, it is the guy from Genoa. He's a right back. I don't know, man. We're obsessed with defenders.
Whatever it is, my point is, at the end of the day, this just has to pan out into something that makes sense.
Who the hell is
you just
this
be signing anyone? So you just be signing anyone? Is that what you're saying right now, guys?
No.
Just be signing everyone.
I don't know what they're doing.
Coming from a Chelsea fan, you'd be signing anyone. Chelsea talking. Chelsea at the point, you had 8 goalkeepers. So how many goalkeepers did you have?
Anybody heard of this guy? He's 22 years old.
I don't have any.
He's a 22-year-old Spanish.
The scouts would have heard of him. We haven't heard of him, but
he's a 22-year-old Spanish right back / center back who's coming into the team. The question I want to know is what's his height, because everybody we sign is like 6 foot. Yeah, this guy's 182 meters, definitely over 6 foot, right?
Yeah, I mean, like squad-wise, I don't know how that's going to work then, because you've got Mosquera, White, Timber already, and Saliba. So, like, another right-sided defender. You've got 4 players already. So I'm just a bit confused as to why you want another player there. But
because again, last season, 12 of our senior first-team players were out for more than 7 games with injuries.
But how many defenders are you meant to have?
Again, Ben White just came back from an injury. And
how many defenders are you meant? How many defenders do you? I think you should have 8. You should have 8 first-team squad defenders, and then supplement it with the youth team.
You might want to go with that route of having 8 and then supplement it with the youth team. But if you look at last season again, we had people in our defense who did not play the entire season and were on the books. We couldn't buy anybody else to replace them. So when we have those type of injuries or you have those type of setbacks, you actually have to show up your defense and show up your team, show up your midfield as well, which we did this season. Because I think what is about to happen is Miles Lewis Kelly is going to go to his natural position, which is midfield. That's where he plays.
How? In what world is that logical? Look how many midfielders you've got. How is he going to play midfield this season?
There's certain games that we play.
Bro,
hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Count your midfielders for me now. Quickly count your midfielders for me.
Let me ask the question first. Hold on. It doesn't. I don't care if we have in excess of midfielders. The point is when we were.
No, hold on. No, but how's your point relevant if you said you don't care? How can you just create logic that doesn't make sense?
As long as we're not breaking any of the league rules, as into the number of players that we must register, I'm happy to have these players on my books. If you want to be a big club, behave like a big club. If somebody
I'm not doubting that, but how do you give high quality players game time beyond 8 defenders?
He is right. You can have too many players, and some of them can be upset that they're not getting game time.
Yeah, I get you. But if you're playing in 4 tournaments and you decide that this is the season that you choose that you want to go for all the trophies, well, then you figure out how to.
You know something? The report for this right back
with FA. You do whatever. The report
for the right back, Deo, doesn't make sense to me because unless somebody else is leaving, why would we then replace Kivior and Zinchenko, who both are not going to get as much game time this season anyways, with a right back and a left back?
Assuming that they won't get enough game time. We said the same thing about Madueke.
Zinchenko was not getting game time at all last year.
Hold on. We said the same thing about Madueke. Madueke is not going to get game time on the right because of Saka. Saka is injured for 2-3 games now. Come the next 2-3 weeks, you don't have any Saka.
I was wrong about the Madueke.
Hold on. Odegaard. Isan is not going to get game time in that midfield because of Odegaard. He's a captain. Odegaard is out with a shoulder injury for the next 2-3 games. We don't look. These things happen. Last season, we had players out for 3 months at a stretch. Some players, top team, first team players, 12 players out for more than 10 games throughout the entire season. What are we talking about here? Go look at the stats and the data. We need some of these players on the books just because of things like this. At least now I'm not panicking to go to Liverpool next week, knowing that Madueke is playing on the right wing.
I'm not gonna lie. That is the biggest W of the week, though. Even though Saka and Odegaard got injured, Arsenal fans are kind of calm because we see our squad and we're like, our squad is really good.
Hold on. Let's see how you play. Hold on. Let's see how you play with these other players first. Yeah, because you're all doing victory laps while your best players are injured. Saka is your best. Listen, Saka is Saka. Yeah. So saying Madueke's name like it's in the same.
I'm just saying. I am just saying.
To me.
No,
so
listen,
let's see what Madueke can do first.
What do you want me to do? Go drag Saka out of the hospital and throw him on the pitch? Like, listen.
1 second.
Hold on.
I'm not saying that, bro. I'm saying you're all confident about what Madueke is going to do on the right wing. Let's see how he plays first.
At least
he's not wrong, but in the same breath, can I say this?
No, we have at least a replacement.
Max Dowman came in. Came in and won us a penalty in the last game versus Leeds. What do you call it? When Madueke played a whole season for Chelsea as a right winger. You can tell me more than anybody, Ahmed, what you think about Madueke at the right wing. And then going into this season, Jay, we have a front three of Saka, Gyökeres, Eze. We have a second front three of Leandro Trossard, Kai Havertz, and Madueke. And then we have a third front three, which is Max Dowman, Jesus, and Martinelli. We have 9 players for those 3 positions. I am very confident that we can find a way to deal with injuries with 9 players.
2 of them are already injured. 2 of them.
I always say.
Sorry. 2 of those 9 are injured right now and are not coming back for the next 3 months. Kai Havertz,
not 3 months, 2 weeks, bro.
Gabriel Jesus is not coming back for the next couple of months. He's only doing off the ball training. Do you know what that means when you come back from an ACL injury? It means you still have another 6 to 8 weeks to go. He's not coming back for 2 months. Kai Havertz, they haven't even told us how long he's away for. That tells you that it's going to be really bad. Because if it wasn't bad, they would have said something. So of the 9 players that you're talking about, 2 are already injured. And the season just started with game week 2. So if by game week 8, you have another 2 injured out of it, you only have 5 left to run out the season. And you have
I just want to show the visual. When you see this visual, you should be like, you know what? I'm confident in my depth.
Yeah. As long as you're happy with the quality in that, that's what I was saying.
That's what I'm saying. As long as you're happy, Igal, with the quality of these players.
No, because again,
we'll circle back, bro.
Because Ahmed,
I have no issue with you having confidence in these players. What I will say is that most of these players haven't established the high level of performance in an Arsenal shirt to showcase what you need to be a champion. So,
I agree. I agree with
so
you.
we're all in the we haven't got enough data to make sweeping statements. You guys seem confident. I'm not unconfident, but I'm just like, I'll wait and see because I don't know. I see Madueke blow hot and cold for Chelsea. There's a reason Chelsea what happened to Salah.
Let's ask Ahmed. Ahmed's a Chelsea fan.
Igal, let me address this. You see, your interpretation of what I'm saying or what Igal is saying is that we're confident. No, we're saying we're happy this season that we have someone to replace them. Last season when we did not have a striker, do you know who played striker? Mikel Merino. We put a midfielder as our number 9 to play almost 10 games towards the end of the season. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I'm not gonna lie. Right now, he's the backup striker.
I was going to say Mikel Merino isn't terrible up front.
I'm not saying he's terrible.
He's pretty good.
Listen,
He's technically the backup striker right now.
I'm not saying he's terrible, Jay, but you can imagine the panic of a fan when you see that that's who you're going to play as a striker. Like you want to be able to say, okay, worst case scenario, Madueke will be on the right for the next 2-3 games. If he can just hold his own till Saka gets back, we can have something to. This person can hold their own for a game or two. You know, let's see what they can chug in and get there. That's what I care about.
Let me hear from Ahmed quickly.
Again, this is an opportunity for those players to show themselves so that the manager can start trusting them. Like Rio Ngonu or whatever his name is today in Liverpool came in, scored the winning goal. I think the manager trusts him the next game to put him in less more than the 10 minutes they gave him this time. That's what you do.
Let's hear from Ahmed, and then we're going to switch to Gyökeres. Ahmed, what are you saying?
Listen, I think for me, if you're from an Arsenal perspective, I think always losing Saka is going to be a very big blow, right? Obviously, I don't know about Odegaard. I don't know if there's anything that's come back as to how long he's going to be out for. Maybe you can tell me, Gal. But is he like out for like a week or two? I know he's just like a shoulder.
Basically, Saka's 3 to 4 weeks, so he should be back for the Man City game after the international break.
Okay.
And Odegaard is. They didn't give a timeline, but they said that they don't think it's as bad as first feared. So he could be missing this game. He could be back next week. Knowing Arsenal, we would have both of them out until after the international break.
All right, so they're both basically out essentially. But listen, end of the day, I think for me, do you then have? I always the question I would then ask afterwards, and I've said this before. Do you then have a confidence, obviously, in having Gyökeres, probably like an Eze and a Madueke, probably will be a front three, or be like a Martinelli. We will be a Gabriel Martinelli on the left, Madueke on the right. Will be
Eze on the left.
You don't think Eze will play in the Odegaard spot because if Odegaard's not going to be available for you in that game? That's the reason why I only brought that up.
I think the best front three would be Eze, Gyökeres, and Madueke.
And then who would you play in the Odegaard?
And you have Ethan playing in the 10.
All right, listen, if that's the thing, then
I would rather have Ethan on the pitch than Martinelli. Simple.
All right, fair enough. So if that's what you think is going to happen, are you happy then going into that Liverpool game with that front four?
Yeah, because I look at Liverpool and I see them also playing Szoboszlai at right back and Curtis Jones in their midfield. I see them have holes in their squad too, and I think we can capitalize on those holes.
No, that's what I'm saying to you. So the reason why I say that is that as long as you're happy about that, then listen.
I can
because my point at the end of the day is that listen. I think right now, if we're being objective, right, I think you do have good depth right now. It's just about then can these guys work together to create their chances. Now, I would obviously with Madueke and Martinelli, I'd probably say that those guys are
Martinelli's third choice left winger.
No, I get that, but the point I'm talking about those two in particular though, I feel like those guys, it depends on the day in my past, but even Madueke to an extent, in terms of like how he was even at Chelsea, where on his day, if he's able to beat his man the first time or second time, he's always going to be like he's going to actually have a good game. Usually.
Ahmed, I hear you on calling Madueke and Martinelli, but we seem to just totally want to ignore the fact that we also have players on the pitch now who can make something out of nothing. You have an Eze who can make something out of nothing, and you also.
I'm not talking about those. But Dio. The problem. Dio. No. Sorry, Dio. I've not disagreed with that. I was just obviously mentioning this. I was mentioning Madueke for a reason because obviously asked my opinion about him. That's the reason why I was mentioning.
Quickly, guys. Sorry, bro. Deo, we're short on time. Let's not make every topic an argument, please.
It's not an argument. I was just going to make a statement.
I get it. Let's not elaborate on everything. We need to go on Gyökeres. Gyökeres, I'm just going to throw it over to you, Jay. Jay, I get you want to say he looks heavy and everything, but he looked like he scored that exact same goal in Portugal where he took the ball from one side.
But like I think like with me, the criticisms I have about Gyökeres will come probably against better teams. The amount of space he's going to have, how his touch is, movement like that. Leeds aren't a good team. So, like, obviously they're a
Can I
Premier League
rebuttal
team.
quickly?
What?
These are the games where we struggle to score goals.
I don't think you were struggling against Leeds at home. Like,
no. My point is, we struggled against Fulham, West Ham.
Yeah, but Fulham are better than Leeds.
West Ham, Fulham, and what was the other one?
You're conflating a little bit here, and I get your point, and you're not a million miles off. My point is, like, a West Ham who finished like 14th, 15th, 16th, wherever, is better than a relegated team. Eddie Hincapié would be scoring braces for you guys against teams like Leeds. Do you know what I mean? I'm not using that as a barometer of him. Yes, he's doing well. He's got those 2 goals. Confidence will be starting to go up. You know, there's no criticism of Gyökeres here. It's not he's a bad striker. We all know he's a good striker. How good in the Premier League is the question mark. So obviously these are positive steps for him. Let's see how he does against Liverpool next week, innit?
100%. And one thing I will say is, we did not sign Viktor Gyökeres for games like Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham. We're already doing well in those games.
What do you mean? Of course he did.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying before you react. We were already winning these games. We're winning the games against the top 6 teams. We're not losing those games. We have not lost to a top 6 team in over 3 years. But Jay, I let you finish. I'm sorry.
No, before you go,
let me get this one across. The point is, Gyökeres is not bought to be a technically gifted striker that can do every single skill set needed. He's not bought to just be a guy who holds up the ball and lays it off every time. No, he was bought for his finishing ability in and around the box. And he might be clunky. He might not be the most silky on the eye. But if he gets us the goals needed to beat the teams like West Ham, Fulham, the mid-table teams which play low blocks and we struggle to get goals against, those are the teams where I view Gyökeres as the more useful piece. Versus Liverpool next week, those are not the games where I'm judging Viktor Gyökeres.
Now, I'm not disputing your point. The only thing I wanted to say before the other boys just jump in, I'm basically trying to explain to you that, okay, the variable of what you discussed just then is, say, a Havertz, okay? So when you take a Havertz out of the team or whoever was playing as the 9, some of those results against the top 6 teams might change, because the dynamics of what Havertz or other players who played as the 9 did to help you win those games, will change when you put Gyökeres into the team. So when you say you haven't bought it, when you say you haven't bought him to perform in those games, you have, because if he doesn't, the variable as to why you saw against United, he didn't have a good game against United. It wasn't just him, but the variable was the performance level was much lower than you've seen versus top 6 games. So all I'm trying to say to you is, yes, you're right in your point, but I'm saying that you can't just assume that by Gyökeres coming into the team in those games, the results will remain the same, because it's different gameplay.
No, but Jay, the way we win those games is off
he's right.
Let me just say this. Right. The way we get results off those games is not only because of the fluidity from the front 3, it's also because of the base, which is our defense. Our defense is the reason why we're even in those games and we're competitive in those games. It's because of the base solid defense, and the difference maker in those games has not been the strikers in those games. It's actually been the set pieces and our defense. Those have been the bedrock of how we've been getting more results in these big 6 games.
But the dynamics then change when you now play with an out-and-out 9 against the big 6. The dynamics will change.
You played with Mikel Moreno. Dynamics didn't change.
I know, because Mikel Moreno is not an out-and-out 9. He's not a striker who's hot. Like, he can finish. He's technically gifted. He can shoot a ball in the box. But Mikel Moreno is not a number 9. We know this because of his movement. So the reason
he's technically better than Gyökeres.
Yes, and the reason we still functioned was because, again, Mikel Moreno would drop in deep to help connect with the ball, hold the ball, pass it on, and whenever he got a chance in the box, he gave it a shot, and he scored. If you look at it, Gyökeres doesn't drop as deep because he's an out-and-out 9. So it will change. The dynamics will change. What I will say is, I think that we've bought a striker to do what a striker needs to do: put the ball in the back of the net in the game. Again, defensively, we are solid enough to, I believe, hold up any team. You know, except for maybe individual mistakes or some errors, we will concede goals, but we're solid enough at the back. Midfield, I think we're pretty much up there with any other top 6 team midfield wise. And I think that all we need to do is be able to just put the ball in the back of the net in those games. Because again, like I said this last time,
the hardest thing in football.
Hold on, I said this last time we had a stream. We lost 20-something points from winning positions last season, which was 14 draws. Of those 14 draws, we played with 10 men in 6 of them. If we had played with 11 men in those 6 games, and we probably maybe would have won those 6 games, would have only drawn 8 games. Do you know what Liverpool won the league with last season? Do you know what they drew 9 games and they lost 4 games. Do you know how many we lost? 4. We didn't lose more than them. We lost the exact same number of games that they lost, but we drew more than they did. And in all the draws that we had, 6 of them were with 10 men. So my thing is, this season, keep your 11 men on the pitch. Get your striker into good position, score, and then lean on your defense. Score a goal or 2, and then frustrate the opponent. Frustrate them defensively, because you know we're probably the best team off the ball in the league. Defensively, probably the way we play. Our on the ball, it will gel. It will take a few games, but it will gel. But right now, that's how I would prefer that we play.
All right. Ahmed, did you want to say anything on Arsenal? Because I was going to shift it to the next team.
Honestly, there's nothing much more to say about Arsenal than, listen, there's a big week coming up. That's still.
We'll get on to that. Save that.
That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm
Save
going
that.
to say.
I want to speak about Ruben Amorim, and I want to speak about Manchester United. Guys, this is the team that he picked on the weekend, and I want to point out that he has Bruno as a central midfielder. He has Ahmad as a right wing back. He has Mason Mount higher up the pitch than Bruno. He has yet to start sqaud. In my opinion, this is where the manager is going to go wrong. He does not have the players to fit the style of system that he wants, and he spent the window improving his attack, but not actually improving the system, because he does not have players that suit it. Dorgu, maybe. Bruno.
Can we be honest? Can we be honest?
Sorry, bro. Let me just finish, and then I'll pass it over to you. Bruno and Casemiro midfield does not work in this system, because one is more attacking, one can't defend anymore, and he's kind of past his best. Ahmad is one of their better wingers, and he's playing so deep, and he's not good defensively. You're putting him in a situation where when he gets the ball in the final third, he's barely used. And the most important thing in them all, they're one of their best, most important attacking players, and one of their best midfielders is not even touching the pitch. They need a goal. What is he doing? He's bringing on defenders and midfielders and one attacker. You're telling me you couldn't throw Kobe Mainu or Zerski onto the pitch? I honestly look at their manager now, and I say to myself, one, they either need to go in strong and double down and back him even more by helping him get players that actually suit the system, but he's hurting himself and shooting himself in the foot by keeping Bruno. If there really is offers for 100 million for Bruno, because Bruno does not fit the system, and if he's actually going to sell guys like Kobe Mainu and stuff like that, they're better off letting go of Ruben Amorim. And I think Manchester United fans like Ahmed, who are saying Ruben should go, I think he just doesn't fit the players that they have don't fit the style that he plays, and it will take them too long to get the players needed to fit the style that he plays. And by then, who knows what the state of the club is.
Of course, it's going to take them a while. Like, this is not going to be done in a window or two. Like, what is wrong? What are we doing here?
No, but bro, it doesn't make sense.
Like, again,
the problem. You know what the problem is? The problem is. The problem is, Dio, is that I would usually agree with said take, right? But you know, if you look at them statistically, right, but in terms of the number of wins they've gotten and how many games they've been played, I think they've really got 7 wins in their last
28 points in 29 games.
7 points in their last 30 games, bro. Yeah, and that's basically the whole season that he's been there already. I think my problem with him, Amorim, more than anything else, is just that he knows that midfield doesn't work, of like Bruno and Casemiro. Yeah, and yet he chose to still stick with that midfield. He chose to keep Bruno another season instead of the club cashing in essentially on £100 million on them. He is playing their best player from last season, yeah, on the wing as a wing back. Realistically, it should really be Cunha and Mbeumo and then Amad Diallo playing as the other 10. Realistic, that's what it should legit be. If he's playing in the same way they should be playing, and then maybe Delo should be playing there. But my thing is that, and I think so. A United fan, I think it was Staffy, big up to him. He's telling me, who has this guy improved since he's been here. Because realistically, even if the style of play isn't 100%, there should be players that have improved under him that should be getting better. And there is no player that's been getting better. And
yeah, I mean, it's a great point just on that. If you think about it, like, because I remember when I was looking at Ange towards the end, and you start thinking, it's like, okay, who's gotten better? I think Ange had a better record than Amorim has, even last season.
Everyone does, bro.
I think, that's what Potter has a better record than
Chelsea,
than No, at West Ham.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
oh, man, there's no way.
He does. No, Potter has a better record at West Ham than Amorim does at United. He has a better win percentage.
Lordy Lord, man. Oh my God.
So I'm looking at it from the point of view of saying, with United, it's just, for me, I've seen back threes. Yeah, I had Conte as my manager. Bridge, Conte. We've seen Inzaghi's back three. You've seen Tuchel's back three. There's been some very good back threes. So I'm looking at it from the point of view of saying, I think it's a limited style that he's got. I think this United squad definitely would suit a 4-3-3. And I think the issue is Amorim has always played 3-4-3, more or less, in his career. So I don't even know if he can coach another style or another system. Obviously, he probably doesn't want to, but still, I don't know what United fans or the United board need to see for them to want to sack him versus wanting to keep him. I need to speak to some more United fans to understand the temperature of what they think is the trigger point. Because at the moment, after last season, they've got 1 point from the first two. Burnley next game, that's going to be trickier than they think.
Burnley just won, they just beat
we played Burnley first game of the season. They're all right, They're actually all right. So if United don't take that seriously, they could get messed up. But yeah,
what I always say is, guys, if United, the thing about United that's like I always come back to whenever I think about them is that they kind of remind me a bit about the Chelsea when we were 12, right? One of the things that I told Iga, and I think I told you guys here on the stream, was that I felt like the way Amorim was moving, he was gonna be their version of Graham Potter, where everything was just getting worse. You know what I mean? There was just no way out. They even spent money on him. They gave him players as well. And the situation was getting worse. And so for me, it's just like when you can see almost similarities, almost the same thing happening again and again and again. It's just like I feel like you can see it's not working with the manager. Like, why did we not cut ties at least in the summer? I thought they had the best opportunity. Almost funnily enough, as we said about Ten Hag the summer before, you could have cut ties and you could have actually gone a manager with a proper summer window and a proper, preseason, right, where you could have gotten a job done for them. Because for me, I'm going to be honest with you, Amorim probably, if things go the way they're going, he might be gone at the same time that Ten Hag was gone, which was October, November? So...
Hey, their recruitment is all off. Everything. It doesn't make sense. But I don't know, Rak, do you have anything to say on them? Because we're going to shift gears quickly to Ahmed's team, Chelsea.
Man United, they were underwhelming, right? They came out of the game against Arsenal with their tails up a little bit, and I think for the first 10 or 15 minutes of yesterday's game, they looked okay. And then it almost felt like it regressed back into the Man United of last season. It was all very uneventful. They were trying to pump it long in certain instances and win second balls, but it wasn't really happening. And I thought Cunha and Mbeumo were decent last week, actually, against Arsenal. Cunha had a couple of moments, but Mbeumo, I mean, he looked pretty shot, which is kind of crazy in the space of 1 week to have that kind of turnaround. And look, it's not just a social media thing, but there are certain shots of him, certain photos of him, where he looks like he's got a bit of a belly, and that's probably not ideal. I wouldn't think, but yeah.
Can I give you a quick stat? Let me give you a quick stat. Yeah, I think Mbeumo only had 6 touches in the second half.
Oh yeah. Are we doing belly watch?
Oh,
Can we
talk about
that a new segment?
One second. Can we talk about
Sesco? I'll Google the weights. I'll Google the weights. You measure the bellies, Igal. Deal.
Can we talk about? Can we talk about the Sesco? I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't want Sesco, but I feel like football in today's world, we're so quick to react to players and just judge them harshly. I'm not gonna judge him harsh. I'm not going to react to it. He barely played. Give him a full 90.
Except Phil Foden, obviously.
No, Phil Foden, we have multiple year sample size. He's not that bad.
Exactly, except Phil Foden.
Yeah. You know what? I was going to go to Chelsea, but now that you mentioned Phil Foden, why was he smiling on the bench as he's getting pummeled 2-0?
No,
that's just one split second. It's one split second where the camera pans to him. He may not even have had a smile. He may have been changing face or something.
You're losing 2-0 to Tottenham in the league. You're on the bench. You're not playing.
Anything, bro. It could be any reason.
Why are you smiling?
You're going to talk about 24 frames that make a second in the video of when they pan a camera across, not knowing if someone has said something to him, and he's probably smiling out of anger like this. This is insane. Like, how do you assume that that's just a smile, like a smile of happiness?
Hey, all I gotta say is, off the back of that 2-0 defeat, I'm taking a victory lap on my take before the season when people are saying stuff like Man City, don't worry, their defense is better, everything's better. They have Reinders, they have Turkey, they have all these guys. I'm sitting there with Lee and Dan and all of them, and they're telling me Man City is going to be better than us next season. Liverpool's going to be better than us, and some of them are even taking it to extremes of saying,
don't sleep on that Tottenham press, by the way. Like, do you know what I mean, bro?
Yeah,
don't sleep on that Tottenham, because you felt it in pre-season when you lost to us 1-0. So don't sleep on that.
You did good, but I'm not talking about you yet. I'm gonna get to you guys.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but the thing is how many teams are going to be able to duplicate what Tottenham did in that game?
Chelsea, Arsenal,
Tottenham's athletes to be able to go
Chelsea and Arsenal. Man.
Not Arsenal, but I'm saying apart from you guys, like you say,
Chelsea.
We're talking about City. Chelsea haven't got our level of athletes.
Excuse me?
What? Not at all, bro. Not at all. Bro, if Enzo had to do what Pap Sarr had to do in that game, he'd need an inhaler after 15 minutes. That's what I'm saying,
I don't think he needs anymore, man. I don't know if you can see, man. He's been in the gym with Mudrik's, you know what I mean, gymnast.
Just circling back to Sesco, Igal. Sometimes, do we not critique the manager? Because you've got a manager here, right, who has two of the biggest overperformers in XG, in Cunha and Mbeumo, coming to the team. They're not, do you know what I mean? So I'm like, we talk about Sesco, it's like, in this Amorim style of football, right, it's like, is the striker just required to fight? Like, because we've had Xerxes, we've had Højlund, we're now having Sesco, and the sample size is way too small for Sesco, so it's not even a criticism. But it's more like I'm looking at, does this system platform attackers to be able to do well, rather than purely blaming the players? Do you know what I mean? So it's
bro, it seems like they don't. It seems like they don't know how to play together. And the way and the default setting of 4-3-3 would actually help the spacing and would suit this team.
Fair enough.
Would suit this team better than what he has going. But the back three is excessive versus every team in the league, especially some of the teams that are going to be relegation teams. It also, the midfield two that does not have any cohesion is useless in most games, because Bruno's attacking, Casemiro's not really good defensively, and he's not a ball-playing midfielder. So, and they don't have anybody. They don't have any combination of midfielders to play a midfield two. If they had Chelsea's midfield, if they had Liverpool's midfield, if they had Arsenal's midfield, maybe they could play a midfield two. But even Man City, I don't think can play a midfield two at this moment in time.
I just think that they haven't clicked on Amorim's style, and it's sad that it's taking this long, but it is what it is. He does have a method that works.
It's not sad. Good for them. Long may it continue.
I think if they got the right key players, like if they got a good DM in place of Casemiro, a good DM that can play by himself or play as a double pivot, in that role, I think it changes exactly how they play. Somebody, I'm telling you this because if they had let me put it this way, if they had a player of a,
if they had Scott McTominay right now,
hold on. If they had a Zubimendi ilk of a player like Zubimendi style, right, who can play by himself as a 6, or someone like a Declan Rice that can also play as a 6 in that position and can pass the ball or carry the ball forward and release it to people like Bruno, who can create chances for either sqaud, Cunha, or Mbeumo, that's a dangerous front three. I don't care what anybody says. It's just that they haven't clicked. If you have a Cunha running the channels on the left, you have Mbeumo coming from the right, and a sqaud down the middle, and right behind them is Bruno. Bruno may not be the best person, but again, it's what they have. But if you have somebody behind Bruno who's a 6 that can play, line breaking passes, I think United settled. Lenny Yoro does not look bad. Let's not do this. Lenny Yoro, with all
no one's criticizing individuals at this point.
The Leeds is not looking crap as well. It's not like they're looking, they're lacking a few things. Goalkeepers, they're lacking as well. I mean, they need to change their goalkeeper. So I think for them to build their spine, if they get a good DM, replace, Casemiro, get a good goalkeeper, a few games they'll bang. A few games.
Am I crazy to say Scott McTominay would suit the midfield in this system?
I can't because McTominay not in an 8 because in a pivot. That's the misprofile in that McTominay had for a lot of his career for United. He's a bomber. You know what I mean? Like he's a third man runner. Do you know what I mean? Don't play him in a pivot.
Blinders.
It's like Bellingham. If you look at when Bellingham was playing the 10 for Real Madrid, that's what you want. That's what you want. You don't want, for me, you don't want McTominay doing the midfield work per se. You want him pressing, bombing into the box, trying to get onto the ends of final balls. That's why he was such a good bagsman. So for me, no, the only place he could play is in the 10s. I think playing Mount in the 10 is mad because he's not productive. He's not efficient. He's not productive.
The only reason why I'm going to give him grace for that is that Tuchel did use him.
But that's 3 years, bro. But that Mount is not this Mount.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think that Mount had something about him. This Mount,
what were we talking about Man City?
Enough about Mount. We somehow Jay got us back to Man United.
Sorry.
We'll save Man City and Spurs for a bit.
What are we talking about Man City? I don't remember.
We'll save Man City and Spurs for a bit. Let's quickly go to Chelsea because I feel like we could spend a little bit of time on that before we finish it off.
Let's talk about Chelsea, man. There's nothing to talk about Chelsea again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, West Ham are terrible.
West Ham first.
These guys genuinely are gonna get relegated. There's no way out for these guys, man.
These guys said they would be better off. Where did they spend the Declan Rice money? Anybody tell me?
They bought Kudos.
They got Kudos for him, man.
They bought Kudos with that
Not
money.
with the Declan Rice money.
It was the same window, wasn't it?
They're not the same window.
Oh, so they bought Kudos and they bought.
Then they sold him
Alvarez.
Yeah. Listen,
they're both gone now.
Yeah, the thing Alvarez won the Conference League with them actually. So I think Alvarez was before Rice. But listen, I think for me, if I'm going to speak about West Ham first, those guys are definitely getting relegated. I just do not see a future for those guys in the Premier League. It might be another 2011 season. That was the last time they got relegated. If my mind is not giving me fake news. But
so
Chelsea was
that bad. Chelsea, you can't even take anything from that game.
Listen, I think the one thing I will take away from that game is that I think one of the things that I liked about that game was the João Pedro Delap sort of front two. I feel like that's something that should be done a lot more by the manager. I actually think it's a lot more efficient. They both, I think why that works a lot more is that they both cover each other's weaknesses really well. Like João Pedro, Delap can do the stuff that João Pedro can't, and João Pedro can do the stuff that Delap can't do. And so it's a much more better and harmonious relationship. And the thing about Delap's able to do that job of laying off, making the passes to the wingers and then into João Pedro, and then that allows João Pedro to do his thing of shooting or assisting as he did. He got 1 goal, 2 assists in that game. In terms of Esteval, I think he had another good performance again. I'm gonna be very hesitant to do overpraise of him. I want him to, slowly bed in. I want him to actually have this is his learning season, in my personal opinion. So listen, Happy that he's able to have that good
What if
performance.
it's his breakout season? You guys don't
Listen. No. The way I look at it, if he's a breakout season, I'm happy for him. But at the same time, I want to be, what's it called? I don't want to overhype the young lad. He's a young player. So
like all these people that keep saying, "Oh, they're young." Look, if you're good enough, then you're good enough. That's it. If you're good enough,
that's fair enough. I want to also give like a lot of credit to Neto.
I've seen Chelsea fans saying build a team around him and Cole Palmer. I was like, okay.
I think Neto's been a very good player for me. Again, he's been really. I think he's shown game after game now. Really, since that Fulham game, that he's finally come onto the team, the way we play, how we play, and so I want to give him a lot of credit in that aspect as well. Enzo Fernandez, again, another goal. You know what I mean? That guy, man, he's like becoming like a goal machine for us in midfield. It's kind of crazy. Even Caicedo scored as well, you know? Midfield scored, everyone's scoring. And listen, it's a good thing because you've got a big game against Fulham, our local rivals. You know what I mean?
Bogey team.
You know what I mean? You know what? They're not actually a bogey team. It's only last year they
you know what, Ahmed, you're jumping the gun. We need to save next week's talk for the next
no. But like, sorry, but talking just about obviously the West Ham game, I like what I saw in attack. Listen, we had no Palmer, no problem, and that's the one thing I think you guys heard me say this last season, right? Where I was like, we need to make sure that we are not relying upon one player to make our team a successful team. And I think, listen, against West Ham, they did that job. Against Fulham, it's going to be another good test. You know, I think Fulham is going to be is a mid-table team. That's a good test to see just how strong this attack is going to be.
Finally, Jay, talk about your team, Tottenham. Surprised a lot of people. I wasn't surprised. Me and Rack called it. We called you guys doing something.
I wasn't surprised.
Rack, you called the Tottenham upset, didn't you?
I can't remember if I said a draw or Spurs win, but I don't think I predicted. I thought this was going to be a test, and it proves to be. So big up, Jay.
Yeah,
good.
Tottenham are the only team right now in the last 2 or 3 seasons that have gone to the Etihad and taken away all 3 points. So I was happy that you beat them. I don't like your team, but I also don't like Man City.
We beat Man City at the Etihad last season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm talking about like they're
but we beat them like every year.
Like every year they take points.
Like we beat them 4-0 last year.
Yeah, every year you guys find a way to take points off them,
every year it's a different type of team too. It's weird.
Yeah. But with this game, right?
Almost all your managers have gone there and won. You know that.
Yeah, honestly, but it's this style really. It's realistically speaking, we've had Nuno, we've had Conte, we've had Mourinho, we've had Frank. All these guys have basically given us a variation of a similar type of performance across all of them. You know, some are a little bit deeper. Frank was very brave. Super man to man. That's also asking your players. It's funny because one of the first things that Frank talked about when he came in was duels. And it reminded me so much of Arteta. You know, when I lose a duel, I'm upset. Yeah. I was like, so he started building the team out around duels. Kudus and Paulinho are really good in duels. So immediately the team's level increased. Spence, Romero, Van der Ven, Sarr, Richarlison. So those players I'm mentioning are winning a lot of duels in games. So the performance style can come because we don't have a playmaker. Do you know what I mean? So at the moment, it's kind of a lot of duels and some good progression from like the likes of Porro or Kudus, but not too much creativity through the middle. But we're also able to score set piece. You know, we're a bit similar to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like the team we're becoming is a bit similar to Arsenal. We don't have the playmakers that Arsenal have yet, but ours are injured. But yeah, really good, excellent performance. We need to get some players in because the squad's still very thin in terms of quality, in terms of first 11. Like top 4, top 5, top 6 quality. But yeah, so far so good. I think it's us, Liverpool, and Arsenal with maximum points so far in the Premier League. We've got Bournemouth at home at the weekend before international break. So, you know, if we can get a win there, it'll be a really strong start, you know, to set it up, and we'll see how we can get on. But yeah. No, just excellent from Thomas Frank. Like really, really, really good. Like well set up. and Richarlison. Do you remember I was telling you how much I've been banging the Richarlison drum for a little while? I'm glad, he's finally got a preseason. I was trying to explain. I was like, the quality of forwards out in the market aren't necessarily better than what you've got, Tottenham. You know what I mean? I've always said that. Like, Ekatike, okay, maybe you can make, but like, when you're talking about sqauds and stuff, I don't think they're really better than what we've got. Gyökeres might be, but again, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, Richarlison, a fit fire in Richarlison. Johnson, still 2 goals already this season. So you know what I mean? So he's carrying on. I think he might be the best back post player in world football. Do you know what I mean? Leave him unmarked, back post, he's scoring. But yeah, all good so far. But we need some players, and Arsenal need to stop copying our homework on players so we can get a player over the line.
You know what? Before we go any further, who we highlighting this week? Obviously, Rio, Max Dahman. Because last week we spoke about
Dahman. Keep Max
last
Dahman.
week.
Leave Rio
last
alone.
week we spoke about debuts. This week is about young up and coming players. So there's been Rio, there's been Max Dahman. Who else has there been? Esteval, Steve, as your Chelsea fans like to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit weird. But
what's his name? Oh, King for Fulham at the weekend.
Yes, the cam player. He's called King.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Lewis
yeah,
King.
Josh
Yeah.
King. Josh King. I was like, okay, that's like he's 18.
I like this gimmick. Every review episode, there has to be like a theme of the week. This week has been like the youngsters stepping up. That's the
Josh King impressed me.
Rio, Max, King.
I know, and as well,
Who else
he's
is
benching he's benching Smith Rowe, isn't he? At the moment.
Who, Fulham?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, because Josh King he's benching Smith Rowe. But
who's that guy on Everton? There was an Everton player who stepped up.
Everton player.
You mean Ghana? I don't know, but Ghana's like United.
Ghana, I won't classify Ghana as a youngster now. He must be 26.
Exactly. He's like 25 now.
Yeah.
Just the Lingard effect.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that we'll figure it out. Anyways, next week we'll figure out another gimmick. As for now, I'll leave you guys be. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Shout out to everybody. Anybody have anything else to say on Tottenham in that Man City game? Because I'm not gonna lie, I just find it. I was just more going at Man City, picking up Tottenham for what they do. But really and truly, can we learn anything from a game? It seems to be every year the same result.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we don't know where City are. I think the interesting thing from this game, I'm sure, obviously, Jay will beg to differ, but everybody, like you said last week, was saying City are definitely going to be there. And I said I'll make a decision on whether I think how competitive they're going to be after a good 10 games. Yes, the win against Wolves was impressive, was good, but I didn't really. They weren't up against adversity that much in that game. Against Spurs, they came up against some adversity, and then I don't want to say they capitulated, but Spurs weathered. I wouldn't even say weathered the storm. Like there was a couple of moments that City had where they got maybe were close to creating a chance or two. Yeah. But Spurs held firm. And they stayed professional, and they ground out. They got the obviously City kind of were what's the word? Architects of their own demise to some extent with the second goal, but Spurs still capitalised on it, and it was a very good performance by Spurs, no doubt. But I don't want to. Again, I'm not going to jump the gun and say that City are out of it. But if they continue to play like that, I think they will drop points, and I don't think. Yeah, I think if you're gonna drop many points, especially at home, to teams that come and have the guts to play high, and if you can't play through them the way that Pep's teams in recent seasons have done it, then I think it's going to be difficult for them. So I'm not going to say they're out of it just yet, but I don't think they can afford many more performances because by the time their performances improve, they may already be out of the title race if Liverpool and Arsenal continue.
I will just say this quickly before you finish, which is that. The centre backs is what confuses me because I just don't listen. The way they play, Stones, Diaz in his current state, I forgot who the other centre back within that trio is. Yeah, I just don't think that's sustainable, bro. Like, there was times where you could just see it. Those guys right now, they're just, I don't want to say age, but I just don't think those guys right now are just the physical type right now to be able to do that job. As of right now, in my personal opinion. And it even showed more when Ake came on, by the way, as well. It looked worse even when Ake came on. Ake's an old guy now, even as well.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm getting tired. I gotta go to sleep. I'm gonna wrap it up. Ahmed.
Okay,
Ahmed,
then. Fair enough.
love for coming on. Rack, love for coming on. Deo, thanks for the appearance as always. Jay, you already know what it is. To the Manchester United and City fans for flopping today, we see you. We see you. Anyways, have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you guys in the next one. Love for the love. Peace.